All right. Uh, first time I'm actually using my stream deck to start a live stream. So I do want to check something on OBS. Usually when I start a live stream, it's set to automatically send a tweet out whenever I go live, and I do want to check. No, it did not. Oh well, that's small sacrifice, not a big deal. Alright, so today we are going to hopefully finish, not really finish, but at least get a decent chunk done in Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. So I do want to check something I should mention. I may get very triggered in this DLC because it heavily deals with racism and really racism in general for directed towards quote unquote slaves. And I really hate racism above everything else. There's two things that I hate more than anything, that is racism and sexism. In this game, this DLC has racism in spades, so you may actually see me just get mad. You may see me like just possibly even give me a finger to some like racist character. Just want to make sure that there was no audio thing, but they got everything. But this may be the game that actually kind of caused me to get mad, so. As per usual, this will be 100% playthrough. And something else I will say is, according to howlongtobeat.com, this game will take 7.5 hours to complete. So this may take 2 live streams. Before we go any further, something that I forgot to do is I forgot to go over the achievement list. So we have Freedom Cry, complete all missions, achieve 100% synchronization, liberate 500 slaves. They have the multiplayer achievements as per usual. These achievements I may not even be able to get. We have, that's multiplayer, we have kill 5 guards at once with the blunderbuss. And we have disarm the governor and kill him with the branding iron. So we will be sure to do that.
With the Templar Admiral on the lead ship, Captain. Once he gives the orders, it will be lost.
The parcel itself is less interesting than its intended recipient. Let's eliminate this errand boy, Admiral, and unmask the true Templar threat. When I became an assassin, I swore to leave piracy behind. But the old methods have served the creed more than once.
Everything is permitted after all, Captain.
Aye, and often it is necessary.
Fire!
There we go, we got 100%.
Royal studs! Ready, Captain!
Now we just need to win.
Brace! Fire! Fire! Awaiting orders! Down for the train! Fire! We've been back! Fire! We can't take on those guns at the moment! Fire!
Okay, now we just have these guys to take out.
vulnerable là-bas.
Something I want to do differently in this playthrough is something that I didn't do in the last playthrough when I was trying to get to the open world. I was trying to get to the open world and as fast as I can so I can do the 100% checklist. Is I actually want to board and I actually want to do it this way because last time I just sunk him. Oh my god. Will you let me move? There we go, we got him. Now we need to go below. Alternatively, if we were to try and sink this, instead you would have to do a diving thing.
Traitor attack. Just keep your eye and be ready for anything. Stay below, sir. On abandonne pas si facilement.
Reach the package. And return to your ship.
Bastien Joseph, Port-au-Prince. What business do Templars have there?
Captain! More French vessels at our tail!
Too many! We'll retreat through the storm!
We will be smashed ashore!
A worse fate awaits if we let this land in Templar hands!
Aye, Captain!
Now, something I am curious about is Adwale captaining the Jackdaw now that Edward is retired.
Get the mains free!
That's something I want to know.
Captain! Ade, they're too strong for us. Rescue yourselves! I must stay with the ship. No, I will stay with you. Taking some damage here. They're closing in. Here we go! Taking a hit! They draw ever closer.
Rogue wave!
Keep clear, Giraffe! Water spout, sir! They are gaining on us! The mortar! Hit from range!
Come on. Yeah, I don't think this is actually the jackdaw. I kind of take that comment back.
That storm straight from hell.
In my first playthrough, if you recall that, really I only put maybe about 30 minutes into this game before I quit and deleted my file. I actually got hit by a rogue wave because I kind of came off the side and I couldn't like save myself. But I will let you know where I stopped playing. It's literally just past this part. Everything after this is blind, but honestly, many of that cutscene I haven't even seen before. Because I actually skipped the cutscenes that I could, some of them I couldn't. 100%. For those curious, anyone that's watching and wondering why this, I'm not streaming this under a Freedom Cry. As far as I could tell, there is no subcategory for Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, so I'm streaming this under Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Sale truie! Non! Ça te coûtera une oreille!
Bah, John. The Templar can wait. This woman must not suffer.
Arrête de courir, salope, ou je te tranche les deux oreilles!
There you go.
Merci, bon Dieu. Désolé. I have nothing to offer but thanks.
Nothing else is needed. As a boy, I fled the same fate.
Why would you risk recapture?
Men of principle know the bigger risk is to turn away. I'm looking for Bastien Joseph. Do you know her?
Moi-même, pas qu'on elle. But any fine gentleman may lead you to her. Too late for this one. Find another in town.
The thanks is now mine. Do you have a place of refuge?
My family waits in the mountains. Demon, Gemon.
Que Dieu soit avec vous.
Love Ed Wally. Okay, so liberating that one slave would have gotten you an achievement. What I think we will do is we will head towards the objective right now. I want to say the free roam stuff for when we're actually able to do free roam. But I'm actually also gonna avoid the chest as well.
It is strongly advised that all citizens remain on the mainland for the time being, while the
Cet homme est soit imprudent, soit inconscient.
Je suis désolée.
Les temps sont terribles.
Oui, vas-y.
Thank you, monsieur.
No one deserves this.
That wasn't that bad. So it looks like those those brutes are essentially just standard brutes. Nothing really to be worried about.
Regarde, il a envie qu'on joue avec les taxes. Regarde, il a envie qu'on joue avec les
Liberate the cage.
I will repay you somehow.
You would do the same if you could.
Adwale, hero of the people. So before we head out,
good-looking bunch. This group is ideal for resale.
Good to hear. These beasts are in perfect physical condition. These slaves are the best of the bunch.
okay, so maybe that was a bad idea. Oh, put me back here? That's bullshit. Okay, so we are gonna save the exploration stuff for... We're gonna save the exploration stuff for, oh, we're gonna get these guys again, but we're gonna save the... Actually, no.
You are very brave. Thank you for saving me.
You too must help your brothers and sisters.
Okay. We're just gonna get these guys that I saved, and then we'll just head towards the objective.
étonnant.
Luckily, these guys really, these objectives really aren't that bad.
Our work here is not finished.
Je t'en prie.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and focus on the objective. We need to locate a gentleman.
These are the finest outside Paris. Mark my words, though. Rouzanne has eyes only for me. I'm on my way there now to present her with a gift.
Enjoy yourself, sir. And fear not, you'll meet no competition from me. My heart is too weak.
And so we are going to be ignoring the auction, which is kind of stupid, but we have to tell this guy.
Je prive mes enfants pour vous offrir ces prix.
Unfortunately, we also had to pass up these slaves, but that's fine. I cannot stress this enough. I absolutely hate it when they force you into missions. I really wish it would give me the choice. Like, I really wish it more consistently. If they, after you complete a mission, they put you into open world, so you can just start the missions when you are ready to start the missions.
Reviens ici.
Ne les laissez pas bouger.
What the fuck? That should have triggered a social stealth.
Tu cherches des outils? Ah, tant pis. Mieux vaut rentrer.
You think me a traitor?
Slaves will be safer for it.
Monsieur Gouverneur, if they felt safe at the plantation, do you think they would be back?
Animal nature. Violence is the only currency that motivates them. Like coin to you, if you really want to. Friends, spread the word. Quiet them down. Otherwise,
You need not describe. I know what you do.
the overseers have every right to discipline as they see fit.
Will not be necessary. I will deliver your message. The cost will be high.
We will both profit by it.
Is there any other service you require, Gouverneur?
Oh, an old man like me. I dare say Guzan has exhausted me already.
Then show yourself out.
Madame Joseph. Expecting a package.
It. But not you. Where's l'Admiral? I see. And do you mean for me to meet the same fate? Look around. One threat, and these men will end you.
I bring no threat. Tell me, how do the Templars allow you to carry on like this?
I am only the messenger. But before you judge, remember, the Templars' coin, like any, will buy the freedom of men like you. I know this mark.
You know nothing.
You have the brand of a slave, the eloquence of a scholar, hands of a sailor, and an assassin's hood. Few weapons. I think the storm stranded you. What do you need? A ship? Shelter? These things can be had for the price of this parcel.
I need nothing I can't win for myself. But prove that what you promise is true. And perhaps something can be arranged.
Is this your game? you will do me a favor. Augustin Dufort is a very secretive man. First find his plantation contact and give him this message from the gouverneur. Augustin will give you all the proof you need. Repeat this password. Sili patoto krabla va manger.
Sili pas dodo, krabla va manger.
Pas mal. A convincing baritone. Now I suggest you leave before my admirers get suspicious.
So is she an ally, or is she just like a neutral figure, or is she like an antagonist? I feel like that she's kind of leaning more towards neutral. Like she's playing both sides. She obviously knows that we are an assassin, but she's willing to work with Templars. So it's clear that
Oh, we have a lad. God smiles down on you, monsieur.
had another mission. It is clear that she is willing to play both sides, but whether or not she is an antagonist or an ally kind of remains unclear at this point. I feel like that she is kind of a little bit, she's just playing both sides and not really understanding, like, she's not really like seeing any problem with playing both sides, if that makes sense. Killing all the racists in the game. I really just want to get to the open world. That's all I really want.
I know this is true.
The wise man is down that path.
Thank you, sister.
Again, I'm saving all these plantation stuff for once we're in the open world, because I don't want, because I'll probably screw it up. I'll probably screw up the thing if I try and like liberate this. Also, I'm passing up all the chests until we get to the open world, because we're still like stuck in missions. If you hear a dog barking, that's my dog. Nothing I can do about it. Just apologize. Over here. They're not good. I'm pushing plenty of overseers into the water.
To eliminate the raft, we must destroy the nest.
Hé, là-bas, halte!
How's that not doing it?
Halte! Salut les verts pour moi!
There we go.
Pas d'ouverture, il est trop rapide.
Okay, so now we just have this guy. You got 100% sync, at least we should. Yes. Guess it was either in a specific location or it was a specific enemy. That was a very sketchy dive, but it worked out.
Do not let them escape. The river. Hurry before they bring more enemies.
What's that? No, no, did you miss one? Go faster! Faster, idiot! This is as fast as I can go! How is that cheater? Shoot him!
You have stormtrooper aim.
Shoot him!
Nice. That was actually kind of badass. Well done, Adwale. 100% sync.
Augustine's your fault.
Blanc dit sans fait. Bon Dieu fait sans dit. The French governor is two-faced. Bastien helps as she can, but Maroon independence is long to build. Longer now. A warrior like you would be a great asset to our cause.
With due respect, I serve a different brotherhood and am honor bound to return as soon as I find the means.
But only the Iowa know when that will be. Meantime, I have sanctuary and weapons to share.
Perhaps our needs may align for a time. What do you need?
Recruits, liberated slaves. The warriors among them join me. The others grow the community for which we fight. Petit à petit, oiseau fait son nid.
I suppose I might lend a hand for a time.
Des petits pachés. I will see that you are rewarded for whatever you can give.
You guys rockin'.
Best begin soon. There's much to do.
Liberating slaves secures the trust of the other freed people. They can assist you by providing new weapons and new upgrades for you and your ship. Recruiting Maroons helps you build resistance in various ways. They can join your ship's crew, infiltrate plantations, or even provide you with ammunition. So, something I should mention, I do not actually know in regards to collectibles what is actually available for 1%. But something I will say is I will definitely be getting all of the Liberation rewards, and I will be getting all the Resistance rewards. Beyond that, I will for sure be doing all of the viewpoints and all of the chests, but if there are any collectibles beyond that, I am not sure.
My thanks. Return anytime.
Yeah, let's go. Apparently we can't buy any more ammunition other than that, so... Okay, so that is a collectible list. So while we are here, we will for sure be clearing this place out. We're just gonna be clearing this place out very slowly, but this is from this point on, it's all exploration. Probably gonna be clearing this place out till the end of the stream. So we have 20 overseers to kill. We have killed 7.
Ta place n'est pas ici. Tu as causé notre perte à tous. On a vu les pieds.
Okay, so we got 9 of 20. 11 or 20. We will be grabbing those chests once we clear this place out. We will also grab the viewpoint once we clear it out.
Il est temps d'aller saluer Saint-Pierre.
Reviens ici, Maro.
Come on, dummy. $15.
Sarko, je ne te perds à tous.
Ne bouge
16.
pas le trouble ailleurs, étranger. Tu n'apportes que des souffrances avec toi. Va-t'en. Tu n'apportes que des souffrances avec toi. Va-t'en.
18.
On ne bouge plus là-bas.
19.
Don't
You
thank
did
me
it.
until the sun goes down.
We did it! First plantation cleared. So we just got Rope Dart Pouch 1? And while we're here, let's go ahead and synchronize. As I have said, this from this point on is most likely going to be all exploration. We may not be doing any more side stuff, but we're definitely going to be clearing this place out. We'll get the chest later. I want to focus on this. So something else I should say. Today, I actually got my driver's license, so I'm very excited about that. I actually got an interim license. I did not actually get the full thing. The full thing will actually come next in 2 weeks. But I have an interim license. 26 years old, and I just got my license for the first time. feel like that was worthy of a done. For those curious why I waited so long when most people will probably want to get their license when they're 16, when they first get a chance, I was really intimidated by the idea of driving a car. I was also like very doubtful of my abilities as a driver. I'm considering myself a dreamer, which means that oftentimes I just kind of think about like for example, like I'm writing a story right now. I'm writing what will be a book series, and I often spend my time just thinking about like handling the story. I envision like certain outcomes for possibilities of interaction between characters, climactic parts, like that kind of stuff. And it's just oftentimes like what I think of, what I imagine, kind of takes over what it kind of takes over what is actually what I actually see, if that makes sense. I have had times where just kind of daydreaming, essentially. I kind of stop seeing the world around me, if that makes sense. And I only see like what I'm thinking about, like what I'm imagining. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. I don't know if anyone has any similar experiences. But that is what that is kind of one thing that I was kind of worried about when I was driving is obviously it's very dangerous if you were to zone out, if you were to just fantasize when you're behind the wheel. And I don't want to be responsible for accidentally killing someone. I don't want to be responsible for accidentally killing someone just because I'm not really paying attention. But what surprised me was when I actually got behind the wheel, when I was actually learning how to drive, I never really had an experience where I was actually daydreaming. I never really had an experience where I was just thinking too much because my eyes were just always like what's ahead of me. And it's something that I just that's something that I just kind of didn't really, well, it's not really, I didn't really understand, but it's something that I didn't really expect. It's something I didn't really expect, and that's something that I appreciate, is the fact that I wasn't like solely the fact that I wasn't like completely useless behind the wheel. I wasn't completely just essentially oblivious to what's around me.
Come back here! This is a friendly reminder from Governor Fayette. Get back here, you! You can't run for long!
I can honestly kind of understand. I can honestly, it's just to finish my thought.
We can only put a stop to this by helping each other.
To finish my thought, I essentially...
These animals are in good physical condition. Did you hear that? Huh?
I essentially, let me just go ahead and kill this guy so I can finish my thought. I essentially,
You know there is still much work to be done.
Trust in yourself.
To finish my thought, thank you. I didn't really have an experience where I... God damn it. Let me just go ahead and take these guys out.
My prayers have been answered. Thank you.
You've endured enough.
Thank you, God. What I've been trying to say... Oh my fucking God! Will you just stop? So much activity in this game. What I've been trying to say is I never had a moment where I was completely engrossed in a fantasy. My attention was entirely on the road and on the environment. So I guess I was wrong to worry. And what's kind of funny about my time taking the driver's license, both applying for a learner's permit, like taking the written test and taking the driver's test. The written test had like 50 questions, and what I was, you're only allowed to miss 8 before you fail. So if you miss 9 or more, you essentially fail. I missed exactly 8, so I barely passed. Something else I was kind of for the driver's test, when you're like behind the wheel stuff, you only had to miss 15, and I missed 14. So each thing I was just barely passing. And I feel like that's an issue with just me in general, just not really testing well. Like, I often have issues where whenever I take a test, I often kind of forget, like, what I'm essentially spent, like, so much studying on. Like, I'm like a horrible test taker. I just kind of have, like, testing anxiety. Which is why, like, I kind of tend to do better on, like, written assignments, like essays, than I do for actual tests or, like, exams. But, the only questions that I got wrong on the written test for the driver's license were questions that were essentially... It's just so stupid, it really is. So, they're supposed to be based off of the driver's handbook. What they didn't tell you had to study up on... I got my driver's test and my learner's permit in California. What they didn't tell you had to study up on was the fucking laws. The laws that were implemented in California that you're supposed to, like, know. And if they were supposed to know laws in California and you're basing it off of the driver's handbook, include it in the goddamn driver's handbook. They did not include that shit in the driver's handbook, and the only questions I got wrong were pertaining to laws that I knew nothing about. My family didn't tell me anything about laws. My family didn't tell me anything about laws. I didn't, like, discover any laws on my own because I wasn't really paying attention to laws. Then simply, like, the basic stuff I need to be aware of on the road is make sure you're not speeding, make sure you're not douchebagging, like, littering on the freeway. Make sure you're not, like, being, like, a bad driver, like, just essentially Make sure you're not the type of driver where you,
You have made a big mistake. You want to play? Please, anybody.
make sure you're not the type of driver where you just are completely raging, you're honking out other drivers, you're flipping people off. You know, that kind of stuff, like actual stuff that pertains to driving. Like understanding the road signs. That's just the kind of stuff that I was studying on. Not the fucking drivers, not the freaking laws that were implemented in California within the past couple of years. Like, that's... And if they want you to study up on that, include it in the freaking driver's handbook. But anyway, those were the only questions I got wrong in the written test for the driver's test. It was actually things that I was aware of, things that I thought I've done better, but the issue with the driver's test is I was so nervous, my heart was racing like 100 beats per minute. And I really kind of felt like I was damn near about to have a hard panic attack. And the things that I did wrong, kind of racked up the points, is I often kind of had times where I did what was called a California stop, where essentially you approach a stop sign but you don't go to a complete stop. You approach a stop sign but you don't go to a complete stop, and you just kind of look to your left, look to your right, and just keep on going through that. I apparently did the California stop a couple times. I didn't even realize it.
Halte. Fais voir tes tricks.
Il ne faut pas qu'il s'enfuit. Viens mourir comme un homme.
Okay, I think this is actually the governor's house, so it's actually kind of interesting that we can go here. But the other thing that I did wrong, that I didn't realize I did was, well, this is something I actually did kind of realize, because so we have like a street in downtown that's like a 2-lane, one-way street. And it kind of goes for like a couple intersections, like 3 or 4 blocks. And what I did that I didn't realize I did was I accidentally, he was wanting me to practice. He was wanting to see like how I merged in lanes, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look behind you and check your mirrors to make sure that you are safe. And I only looked behind me once, and the thing that I did was it wasn't like a clean merge. I was kind of panicking because you're not supposed to merge in an intersection, and I was fast approaching the intersection, and we were also fast approaching the area where there's actually nowhere else to go, like the one-way kind of dead ends, essentially. Well, it kind of turned into like I think that's like a museum at the end of this one-way street, and I knew for a fact that he didn't want me to go in there, go in that museum. So I was trying to be quick about my merges, but at the same time I was trying to be safe. There was no one on that street but me, but because I wanted to make the merge before I was crossing the intersection, and because I wanted to make the merge before shit. Because I wanted to make the merge before I crossed the intersection, and because I wanted to make the merge before we got to the end of the street, I was kind of panicking in that moment. because I was worried that I did not have enough time and I wanted to be fast and efficient. So I did a quick look behind me, checked my mirrors real quick, and I did kind of a sloppy merge, and I did that twice. But he only saw me look behind me once, but the first time when I did it, it was kind of a really quick look. So I wasn't really spending too much time looking behind me. But he definitely was paying attention to how efficient I was in my merge. And he definitely marked me down for the kind of sloppiness of the merge. But he also tested me on parallel parking as well. But the way that he tested it was just kind of not at all what I was expecting. We essentially had, we're in a residential neighborhood, and there's a car parked to my right on the side of the road. There's also like maybe five car lengths of cars in front of him before, in front of that parked car before he reached the stop sign. And he told me to pull over in front of the car, and he told me to just reverse and just back up, and he'll tell me to stop. I had to pull forward and back up a couple times because I kept on. What is this? I kept on making the mistake of hitting the curb. I was looking behind me and making sure I'm going straight. So you guys haven't had me like pull forward and try again. And I did that, like I had to pull forward twice. The third time I actually got it. But I know that's also something I got marked down for. It's just like little things like that that end up kind of building out to 14 strikes, 14 to 15 strikes.
I can't walk. Please, don't leave me alone. Lord, watch over us. Pete! God, protect this man. You were sent by the Bondie.
It's not over yet.
I'm actually starting to like this DLC. I'm not a big fan, as I said before, I'm not really a big fan of like racism in games. If I encounter like a racist in a game, it makes me want to shoot him or just kill him, even if it's like a supposedly important NPC. I just don't like racism in games. But apart from cutscenes with the jailers, I haven't really seen too strong of the things that just kind of triggers me. I don't understand like why we have these like wide radiuses of supposedly I'll also begin to think there's like no end to these things because they just keep on popping up. I beginning to think there's actually no end. I'm wondering like why I kind of was talking in circles. I'm wondering like why we every now and then, like when I kill like an enemy, there's like a radius of a yellow circle implying that there is someone that knows that's looking for me in that area. then all the enemies, as far as I can tell, are dead. I don't know, it's just like, I don't really understand. Okay, so we are going to stop here.
I'll cut off your toes one by one.
I do kind of like playing as Adwale. Just she's honestly kind of one of my more favorite characters from Assassin's Creed 4. I do kind of like that you get to play as him. It's just so far the gameplay of this DLC just hasn't really impressed me. And as bad as it sounds, I'm honestly kind of getting tired of the mechanic of saving slaves. As bad as that sounds, I get the feeling there's going to be people on Twitter or Twitch are just going to try and cancel me for saying that. Oh, how can you be tired of saving slaves? No, what I mean is, this mechanic, and if it was just a limited thing, I wouldn't really have as much of a problem with it. Like, if there's like a finite amount of activities I had to do, I wouldn't really have as much of a problem with it. But the fact they seem to be infinite, they seem to respawn, does kind of annoy me. So I would do the ones that pop up, but I get the feeling there's no end to these, so I probably won't be able to do everything, every one of those events. But I think for 100% completion, and I do want to check. Yeah, these only have missions. Wow, we got already at 33%. Holy shit! These only have memories, like the main mission, so we can't do that. But it will definitely be getting all of the liberation rewards and all of the Makita Maroons. Adwale upgrade. Huh. Already 65% to the database. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and do this plantation. Honestly, these plantations really aren't that bad. They're honestly kind of fun. But, like, this is actually just, it actually requires stealth. Presumably you need to have stealth. You can't climb that for some reason. If you don't want, like, these slaves to be killed. So it just kind of gives a neat little challenge. Why would I want them to follow? Over here, dummy. $5 at 20. He'll come back for that chest later.
Arrête-toi.
Okay, I'm being a very risky. Being very risky, but so far all my slaves are alive. Over here, dummy. Okay. Come on, dummy. Okay, well, he is alerted and he'll be coming to investigate.
Laisse-le tomber. Il est reparti dans son terrier.
There's 17, just 3 more. Okay, one more. You are gonna come my way. There we go. Mission accomplished, chaps.
You're not safe out here. Go, find shelter.
So we now have Dart Pouch 1. Oh, we have, what do we get, like, Plantation Raid Bonus 1? Ammunition, red rebates? I don't know what rebates are. Actually, I'm gonna Google that. Rebate definition. Partial refund to someone who has paid too much money for tax, rent, or utility. So ammunition rebates, I'm guessing, is a refund on money when you pay for ammunition. That's nice. And resistant fighters too. Alright. That's fun. Go back over here and we will synchronize viewpoints. So currently an hour and 20 minutes into the stream. We're going to be streaming for another hour and 10 minutes, I'm guessing. Oh, wait, no. An hour and 30 minutes. An issue of me being bad at, the issue of me being bad at math. Kind of funny to me. I had an interesting conversation with my dad's friends. He went to the same university as me. Went being the key word just means he's not attending out. But we actually had what I would consider to be like an intelligent conversation. A lot of times when I discuss it, my ideas or like my passion to anyone, I encounter people that I consider to be yes men. Like someone that says, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Hey, by the way, like that kind of stuff. Like someone that just makes a passing acknowledgement of like what you're interested in, but at the same time, like not showing complete interest in what you're doing. You know, that type of thing. And I kind of had like that. I encounter those people all the time, those yes men. And I actually encountered some professors that encounter that kind of do that type of thing. Like of all things, like professors be the people that just at times I just don't really have like a vested interest in what you're the type of conversation you're kind of bringing to the table, which is just I kind of really kind of hate. I'm just explain out more what I mean just before I go back to my initial topic. I'm someone that I love to be able to talk about my passions and my ideas to people, anyone who would listen, and what I want to do in life. But the type of people that I talk to, they don't really add on to what I'm discussing. And they seem to be responding in a way that they just kind of want me to shut up, essentially. And that's essentially what I'm often encountering. But this conversation I had with one of my dad's friends is something that I would consider to be an intelligent conversation, which means he was actually asking questions and he actually wanted to know more. He was actually kind of building upon the conversation and not just kind of letting it die. And we were kind of talking for about like 20 or 30 minutes before the live stream, and he was actually the first person that I talked to about, like, those of you that aren't aware, like, I'm writing a novel series, and it's heavily inspired off of the series One Piece by Ichiro Oda. It's a manga series that also has an anime, but the anime is not as good as the manga. But as I was saying, he was kind of building. I frequently encounter professors who, when I tell them that my story is inspired by One Piece, they kind of give me a weird look because they don't really find a manga or a comic book to be like a credible source of inspiration, because the thing they're kind of looking for is, oh, my book is inspired by Stephen King. Oh, my book is inspired by, God, listen to all these like basic authors. And one of my main philosophies in life is there are more methods to teach you, to inspire you to tell a story than just simply novels. If you're writing a crime novel, I honestly would consider like turning to like a TV show, like not Law and Order, but like an actual crime show with a story. Like, I would honestly kind of recommend like watching White Collar, of all things. But like you can like turn to a TV show for inspiration for writing your own book. You can turn to a movie for inspiration on writing a book. You can turn to comic books for inspiration on writing a book. You can turn to your own life experiences for inspiration for writing a book. There is more credible sources of inspiration that are not strictly limited to literature. And that's honestly what I absolutely hate. Is a lot of professors I encounter, they act like literature is the only credible source of information. Like, you can only... Like, you only, like, too many professors, the only way for you to write a book is just to get guidance from, like, literature and just learn to write by literature. But I just always kind of view there being more methods to gaining inspiration for learning to write a story than simply literature. Like, books can tell you the format. They can give you inspiration for writing the format of your story, but they're not solely inspiration for writing a story in general. And that's something that I always hated. Is all the English professors I talk to, they act like literature is a God's gift to man, and like if you don't value literature, if you don't get inspiration from literature in your writing, then you're not like worth it in their eyes. And I absolutely hate that shit. So many professors just look at that just so one-sided, and it is infuriating. It is absolutely infuriating. But he was actually, this professor, this person, that my dad's friend, was actually agreeing with me and my idea that there are more ways to like get inspiration for writing a story than just reading literature. And he was actually kind of giving the example of Marvel Comics, which is something that I actually kind of appreciate, because it was actually kind of agreeing with me with the idea that not all and like something like being another source of inspiration for writing the story, being another comic book, and that's something that I really appreciate. And I kind of wish that more writers, not just writers, but also teachers, kind of shared this mindset instead of just being so narrow-minded. It's really my problem with my, that's really my problem with a lot of the professors at my university, where they just are just so narrow-minded, I guess, and it's infuriating. It really is.
Excellente distraction.
Toi là-bas, pas question. Bloquez le passage.
Why did you have to follow me? You just got everyone killed. Fucking dumbasses. Just go away. If you guys didn't freaking... You guys didn't freaking charge in like a dumbass, we wouldn't have actually died.
You need to take shelter until the day is
Fucking idiots. There's a maroon that died too. So we got an Experto Creed appearance? I don't know what that is. Is that an outfit? Plantation Raid Bonus 2. Full crew members. Is that an outfit? New sails, wheel, and figurehead for the Experto. Oh, the Experto Creed must be the ship that I'm about to get. That makes sense. Okay. Sadly, Maroon died, but he was an idiot. It was a person I'm thinking of that got killed by the Overseer, the heavy guy. And yeah, he was an idiot. I'm actually gonna go to the other side. I was curious, this game really shouldn't take too long, like 2 live streams at the most. I'm up. 2 live streams at the most, maybe 3 to wrap things up. But after that, we are gonna be attempting to do the multiplayer, and if we cannot get into the match, then this series is over. So for those curious as to what's coming up in the future, since this is looking like the next game that I'm completing on my channel, I'm trying to, there we go, back to all icons. Since it looks like the next game that was completed on my channel, then the very next game that I'm going to be playing is actually, oh god, I can't think what it's called, Sims 3 Pets. I will be playing that on the 360 version, and for those curious, since this will be a 100% playthrough, I'm mainly going to be going for an achievement base. However, I do have contingencies. I do have like a plan, an actual checklist of what I consider to be things for 100%. One of those things I'm going to be doing is trying to get this is going to be like a game where it's not going to be simply like me getting 100% in a given playthrough. This will probably take multiple playthroughs. Because I guarantee you that I may encounter an issue where my family dies. But basically one of my goals for the checklist is to reach the maximum level of every job at least once. And I'm not counting like split paths, so I will not be doing like different playthroughs, I'll not be doing the same jobs to pursue a different path. I will just be doing the one job for one path. And I will also be doing like they have like mysteries for you to solve. I'll be solving like all the mysteries in the game. So I will be just kind of working through like one by one, and I'll be slowly but surely solving like all the mysteries in the game. But I will also be unlocking and maxing out every skill at least once. So there are many skills in the game, and I will be completing, I will be getting to level 10 on all of them. Another thing that I'm going to be doing for this playthrough, for this upcoming Sims 3 Pets playthrough, is pretty obvious, but I'm going to be I'm going to be getting all of the achievements in the game. I will also be, I'm trying to think. I think that's actually the limit of things I can do for 100%, but I'm trying to think. But this will likely be like a couple of playthroughs at most. But for those curious, there was actually a bug. Oh. We are missing one. maybe we will find it later. This is the last chest I can see. But what I was gonna say is, that's actually kind of the limit of things that I'm aware that I can do that arguably could be considered needed for 100% completion. But if I do come up with any additional things I can do in the game, I will for sure be doing it. I'm kind of, I'm thinking that there may be 3 playthroughs at the most. I'm thinking there may be 3 playthroughs at the most. So I kind of have that to look forward to. This will be the first Sims game that I'm going to be playing on this channel. Really just one of 2 Sims games, unless I release the Sims 5, then I'll eventually be streaming that. But, it is something, I am a huge fan of the Sims franchise, and actually Sims 3 Pets was a game that got me interested in Sims. So if you are interested in kind of seeing me just play a game that I kind of grew up with and that I love, have that to look forward to. The next game that I imagine I will be completing on my channel will be Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm actually, tomorrow will be ending the first playthrough. Hey, I see you. Tomorrow I will actually be finishing the first playthrough and starting my playthrough on Proud. So if you are interested in gonna be playing, if you're interested in like a blind, essentially like someone who has never played Proud ever, feel free to check me out then. Tomorrow. Last thing that I will say is when I complete the Kingdom Hearts 1, I'm going to be taking a long break before I start the next Kingdom Hearts game, but the next game I start on my channel will be Assassin's Creed Rogue. I'll be playing that on 360 as well.
Every day, more slaves arrive.
Human cargo makes for lucrative trade. I once hoped men of education could be made to see the cost. The profit makes them ignorant.
With the right vessel, you could intercept the slave ships before they arrive. Or you would be free to leave. You have already paid more than your share to the Mawon Saint-Domingue, and I am no master. I cannot choose for you. This brigantine could meet your needs if you could relieve it of its crew. Bastien has volunteered her women to draw the men away. Or you could set this tower light to distract them.
Excellent options, all of them. What's this?
Firecrackers. Some of your recruits salvaged them. It's only right that you should use them.
Excellent.
Once you send me a signal, I will send our men to join you.
You're wondering why I'm not talking? I do not like to talk when there's a cutscene playing. I know there's been people, including myself, that hate it when YouTubers or streamers talk during the cutscene, so I remain silent for those. Not only in consideration for my viewers, but in consideration for myself, because I love story mode in games, and I like to be able to listen to the story. I need to take a look at that thing. What does that say? Use Bastian's girls to distract the guards and distract 4 guards with firecrackers. Okay, so let's head over here. See some guards over there, so... Yeah, let's look for Bastion's girls.
Quelle bonne idée!
Let them have it.
Comment te résister?
Aïe! Je veux te parler! Vivant!
J'aimerais les assins.
La mort a frappé. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Il ira nulle part!
100%.
Toi là-bas, halte!
Hé, attends un moment. Et savoir. Bloquez du passage!
There you go. I just need to get the TNT barrel. And we're good. Firecrackers are interesting, but I don't think I will have a need to use it beyond the whole optional objective thing.
Il y a des blessés! Vite! C'est le poste de Jacques! Aidez-le! Oh, toi, tu vas t'en... On va le faire!
Okay, now we just had to kill.
On ne bouge plus là-bas!
I do kind of feel like that at times that the assassination thing is a bit long.
Hé, attends un moment. Je vais voir. Empêchez-le de partir!
Smoke bombs are OP. bust out darts again. I guess I should go ahead and say this, that I just kind of realized that this is not 100% blind, because I do kind of remember watching a playthrough of this by the YouTuber Tetra Ninja. I think I watched this series like shortly after I watched his Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag series, like after I kind of gave up on this game. So this is not completely blind, but I only really remember like the final boss. So take that what you will.
Augustin, I am surprised to see you here. Are you not needed in the headquarters?
I can train in order to take my place there. But when you are gone, who will captain this ship? You must teach me.
Aye, I will. But you must not call me captain. You are the leader of these men.
But you have earned the right. At sea, you will be my captain.
Apparently we need to liberate a slave ship, so we may as well do it while we're here. This is like a slave ship up
How
here.
did you come by your knowledge of the sea, Ade?
It was my first true home. Buccaneers offered me my first glimpse of freedom.
Holy shit, this area is huge! Oh my god! We are going to have fun in the sun. I guess it's not that big. I guess I'm just kind of over-exaggerating, but wow, look at this. We are definitely gonna be exploring before we head back here. That was actually like really cool. Oh, this is a lot. This is the entire game.
I learned by observation.
They will not teach you.
Nor accepted me as their captain once I had proven myself. Only the assassins offered me real authority.
Let out some sail!
You were born in Trinidad.
Aye, on a plantation.
Are there not Maroons there who could use your help? I know we are not alone in Saint-Domingue to fight for independence.
There could well be. I have not returned to find
Are
them.
you going to aggro on me?
Loose and catch the wind!
And but it's kind of this dialogue to play out. I didn't want to like initiate combat, but
Trim the yards off the wind!
let's actually take a moment and go into the captain's quarters real quick, because I'm legitimately curious. I just remember that we got something as a reward. Shit. So I guess this adds on to what I'm gonna be doing. Getting all these upgrades. let's see. I will say I'm getting a little bit hungry right now, but I'm gonna keep going. We're definitely gonna have to do some naval combat and get resources. I think the first upgrade I'm going to get may be a cannon upgrade. Actually, we're gonna get a round shot upgrade so we can do more damage. We are also going to do a heavy shot upgrade. And I think the next thing that we're going to be focusing on is getting an upgrade. Getting 300 for a cannon upgrade. And after that we're gonna get 200 metal, 200 wood, 150 metal. It's interesting how there's no harbor master in this game apparently. And if you want to upgrade your ship, you have to go into you have to specifically go into your ship and interact. What do you do? Just gonna restock on ammo real quick. Okay, let's actually do some exploration before we do naval combat. I want to explore some new areas.
Captain has men's out! Let's go! Every last scrap of duck on the wind!
As I said, this is probably gonna be like the rest of the entire playthrough. It's just me doing exploration. For those curious, at all curious, I typically like to do all the side stuff before I do the main objective, so we may be exploring this area in its entirety. So if you're interested in this, if you are, I guess I should say, if you want to see more story progress, you likely will not get that for some time. But we will be doing a lot of exploration. This is typically how I like to play. I like to do all the side stuff before the main objective, so it's nothing too unusual. Isle-Du-Fey. Is that French? Isle-Du-Fey. Isle of something. Fey. I know do is of. Isle of what? I'm actually gonna look that up. What is Fey French for? Mysterious and strange, or trying to appear like this. He dismissed her later poems as fey and frivolous. So it's a Cambridge English, apparently, a definition in the Cambridge English Dictionary. So was it like just English, like British English, like not American? I'm assuming. Obviously not American because this is not like in America. Well, it's probably developed in America, but it's not based in America. I always thought that was French. I guess that's English, like...
Captains at
Huh. Ooh, we also have killer whale. I have a sneeze coming.
Unfurl mains! Let's move! All sail! She'll take it!
The one thing that I dislike about Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag are the storms. I do not really find storms like piloting a ship in the storm to be enjoyable to me. It's just kind of annoying. That's one thing that I'm kind of glad about, that after Assassin's Creed Rogue, it's actually the last time you encounter like a storm. It's just very frustrating to me. I can never really explain it. It just is. Like it's just like always had to be worrying about like rogue waves, always having to avoid typhoons or blizzards, whatever those are. It's just like the weather, the height of the waves is just always kind of annoying to navigate. I swear to God, like I go slower in storms. And we're clear. Currently 2 hours in, we're going to be streaming for another 50 minutes. Let's see how much we can get done.
Ease off the wind!
mainmast! Bring it top halyards! Pull!
Loose all! Let's move!
Move sailor! Loose tops and royals!
Reef in all tops! Hold down! Hold down!
Don't know if there's a dock, but I'm not looking for one.
Captain John in strict.
I also just kind of noticed that looks like there's hooks underneath this icon. I'm guessing that's like in order of difficulty. No, those aren't hooks, those are eyes. Huh. Is there a notoriety thing, like a wanted system? Over here, dummy.
Nous avons beaucoup de chance d'avoir un ami comme toi.
Okay, well that's done. Let's move over here.
bouge plus!
6 and 7. Use a little bit more darts than I would have liked, but I'd rather use them than bigger riot. Essentially, is what I'm just gonna call them. Uprising, I guess. Another word.
Halte! Ne bouge plus! Arrête-toi! Oui, toi! Ne bouge plus d'un pouce! Je vais adorer ça, je le sens! Ne nous perdez pas de vue! Tuez-les vite avant qu'ils nous...
I need to be more careful.
Je sais qui tu es. J'espère que tu viens nous aider.
Oh my god, stop. That guy was having a bad day. He was just trying to sleep. He got kicked in the face 6 times. Poor guy. Can't believe I'm feeling sorry for a racist, but here I am.
Personne ne se moque de la loi chez moi!
Okay, 15. They got this guy. $16. That guy over here looks like. $17.
Toi là-bas!
18. 19. And one more.
Arrête-toi! Oh, que je saigne!
That was weird. That shouldn't have happened.
Run and find a place to hide.
I made a sound effect of me kicking him into the wall, but it didn't actually trigger. That's weird. So we got Ironclad Ram. We got Resistance Fighters 3. Yeah, so it's liberated slaves, not maroons recruited. We're also out of sleep darts, so we'll go ahead and refill once we're back at the ship. And I've had a lot of fun. I'm kind of like off and on. Like sometimes I'm having fun with this DLC, and sometimes I'm not. I will say, I was kind of a little bit disappointed that there was not like a finite amount of slaves to rescue, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad there isn't. because they will need to make sure that you would have like the maximum rewards like by the end of wait shit. You need to make sure that you had the maximum amount of awards like earned at the end of a playthrough if you did everything, and assuming you don't screw up and get a bunch of people killed. But having there be like kind of infinite activities just kind of makes it more bearable. It's just these activities can be a little bit intrusive, I guess. That's really my problem with it. If it wasn't for... If it wasn't for, like, these activities often just kind of, like, often distracting me, I said often twice, then I'm maybe enjoying this game a lot more, but it's just the sheer amount of activities to do and the fact they kind of lock you into the missions is until you reach certain requirements does kind of make it an annoying. Tortuga. Wait a minute. I've been here, right? This is where... Wait. Yeah, there was actually... I know where this is. Port-au-Prince wasn't here, but right here there was like a bandit hideout. What's that called? Like, it's not Jigwee, it is, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, there was like a bandit hideout here. They just kind of reused the area, I think. I don't remember this place over here. I feel like they both kind of reused an area, and they also kind of... They both reuse an area, and they also include some new stuff, because that area looks really familiar. In the West Indies is where we were in the main game, but I definitely have been in Tortuga. That's definitely a location in Black Flag. In fact, I think there was also like a warehouse thing to loot. Now it's a slave plantation. But they did redesign this, so I guess that's interesting. I think they did. That may have not been a windmill. That may have been like a watchtower. Actually, no, no, that's not a watchtower. But other than that, I think it's the same location. It looks similar at least, and I definitely do recognize the name Tortuga. Unless, was Tortuga the name of that area and not the name of the location? I can't remember. I may just like load up like my Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag playthrough just to make sure, but I just... This area looks familiar, it really does. And this area in particular looks familiar too. I'm legitimately curious. I'm legitimately curious right now. You can't run over that? Okay. We're gonna have a little vacation. I love it. We are actually going to save and quit. Because I want to check this out. This is really just triggering my... I have to know. I have to know. So we're gonna be visiting Edward Kenway for a little bit. Just for like a second. Okay, so this is where... That's it! That's Petite Cavern! Port-au-Prince was right here! And this is Tortuga. Right? It is the same exact location! Oh my god, that's awesome! And, wow. So this fort right here in Navassa would have been like Fort Lowly in the game. And Freedom Cry. So it's literally like this whole like bottom corner of the map is where the where is a map of Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. That's actually interesting. I had to check. I had to check. But that is pretty interesting that they kind of reuse like a location. I thought that it was like an actual like unique location, but like, I recognized this island first, because this whole area looked familiar, because I went to this island, Petite Cavern, so many times, trying to get, like, certain, events to spawn. And I remember Tortuga, because right here, let me just go and fast travel here. Right here is not a windmill, but it is like a watchtower. It's a watchtower. So they kind of redesigned like an area. Unless... No, that's where the windmill was. That is interesting. They redesigned this area just ever so slightly. And the thing was, like, it's also like a viewpoint, I think. That's funny. That was really funny. Anyways, let's go ahead and fast travel to Great Nanaga, and then we'll go back to Freedom Cry. That's funny. They literally just use the same like area, and so, they copied some of the same locations as well. They just didn't copy everything. That's really funny. Sorry, apologies for the recess, but I had to check. I had to know for sure.
Close down! Catch some wind! Proud on every inch of sail!
Oh, there was even a dock here. That's actually really funny. I can't get over that. I really can't. I was thinking this entire thing was just completely new areas, new locations. No. It's just like a reused area. Our respect for this game has dwindled slightly. I would have liked to see completely new locations, but hey, work with what you got. Actually gonna attack him. Gotta work with what you got. Like, you're not gonna get, in all likelihood, when Ubisoft was developing this game, they weren't gonna, like, create, like, an entirely new area. They're not gonna create, like, an entirely new area. New locations, like, all new locations.
Fire! Awaiting orders! Fire!
And it's still pretty funny. It's interesting.
Ready to fire!
There we go. Yeah, there's a single member. We didn't actually take any damage, so we're just gonna reset the wanted level.
Join us or die.
I should probably check. I don't think there is.
Men's out! Let's go!
I should probably check to make sure that there are no.
No! Yes! Fire! Hit from right! Fire!
I was gonna say I should probably check to see there's no like achievements for wanted level. This one I'm gonna repair. This should also, I don't think it's gonna be enough to get us an upgrade, but there we go. I think this guy had the rum. Yeah. Yeah, now we're gonna do some more exploring.
To the wind!
We've taken materials at deal for upgrading the ship.
Studs out! Let's get moving!
So we are currently 2 hours and 23 minutes, 24 minutes into the live stream. We're going to be streaming for another 25 minutes.
Trim the yards off the wind! Get them aloft! Douse all sail!
For those of you curious, I don't quite know how much entries we've actually gone, but I'm basically going to be handling this series the same way as I handled Assassin's Creed 4, where at the end of each live stream I'm going to be recording a post-stream session, where I'm going to be recording a bit of me reading the new entries for the database. Isla Faro. Kind of reminds me of Ted Faro from Horizon Zero Dawn. And I guess Horizon Forbidden West as well. But, I'm gonna record myself doing like a post-stream session where I'm gonna be going over the new entries for the database. But, do not...
Get the men's free!
But, I can't think. But, I don't know how much entries I've actually managed to get, and it's possible this may be, like, as much, I would say, like, as much as, like, 20 minutes to 30 minutes of extra time added onto the stream, like, when it's uploaded onto YouTube, so, we'll see. We'll see, but we are currently at 73% total synchronization, so. And for all I know, it may go pretty fast because they may handle the database things the same way as Assassin's Creed Liberation, where a lot of the database entries is just like pictures.
Fire!
This looks like a fort.
Ease off the wind!
Near a slave ship, apparently. Slave ship. A slave shit. Near a slave ship, apparently. Fort Matias. Apparently a peaceful area because Wale has his hood down. I think there's a secret here. Oh, what's this? That was an interesting cut. This gold machete is a unique, ornate, and deadly blade. Wow.
Captain's helm!
Loose man sails!
That was actually kind of interesting. I was, that's not the type of secret I was expecting.
On the wind. Fire!
Fuck. It was empty. Then as soon as I started heading to it, a freaking plantation owner moved in. That's great.
Shorten sail! Get off the squall!
Stud sails! Ride the wind!
What we are likely going to do is we may end the stream after we clear out this plantation. It seems like a good thing, a good stopping point.
Haul in the stunsails!
Reeve the mains! Blew up gallant!
Douse all sail! Unfurl mains! Let's move! Hold them in! Get off the wind!
I was trying to do a rope swing and just assassinate him that way. It didn't really work out. Ah, shit. I just realized I don't have any sleep darts. I'm actually gonna go back to my ship and restock. What the heck was that? Adwale? Stop. Hey, you! Give me... Not you. You! You will give me ammunition.
Good day, and fortune favor you.
Okay, now let's go ahead and take this place down. What's a fucking whiff? Okay, so there is two guys there, one guy there, there's a guard up top.
Mon Dieu, non!
Come on, dumbass.
Mon Dieu, non! Ne me faites pas de...
Okay, I got 4 left. I should probably save for this overseer over here.
Pensez à mes enfants, épargnez-moi.
Hey, there's another one. We have 10. Just need 10 more. $11. $12. You are dumb. 13.
Toi, j'ai entendu parler.
You are 14. Ah! 15.
Huh?
17. It'll be my last one. Give it to me. I didn't realize they actually had his hands up. He was surrendering. That's actually pretty cool. I never noticed that detail. So we got the blunderbuss ammo pouch. And we got the final resistance awards. That was actually took less time than I would initially think. So we are currently 2 hours and 37 minutes in. Maybe we can do a little bit more than just this plantation. We'll see. Oh my god, stop. I do appreciate that the new locations that they do create, even like the plantations, are pretty well designed. I do kind of appreciate that. There's just a level of detail present in this game. There's no real good route for this. I'm just gonna kind of go in that kind of pattern. Honestly, the plantation raids really aren't that bad. They're not hard or anything. And honestly, I do appreciate like the emphasis of stealth. But beyond like the main story missions, there's really like you could essentially like boss rush the really the only place for stealth in the base game Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is either the random events for rescuing pirates or the warehouse raids. But really, if you take out the key bearer first, you could in theory just beast mode like the entire camp. You don't even have to worry about them like detecting you, like ringing the bell for an alarm. Because if you know like how the combat works, you could essentially just handle like a wave of enemies and have it be like no problem. The issue that the thing that I love about this game is the fact that it actually kind of has more of an emphasis on stealth than this plantation. If you get caught, you risk like the people you're trying to save being killed. And I do appreciate that. There's kind of like a risk to your actions. But what I don't really like, again, like that sheer repetition of just having to rescue like just poor story progress. It is kind of getting a bit tiring, but honestly, I don't hate this concept, but I don't like it either. I don't love it either, I should say. It is an interesting concept, I guess you could say. Well, it's kind of an interesting concept, how you need to meet certain requirements for missions, but you never have to do this at any point for any Assassin's Creed game up until now. At least not that I can think of. So it's just kind of weird, I guess. This game is just kind of weird. I'm kind of like mixed about like how I feel about it. Yeah, I really need sleep darts.
You are wise, Captain. You never know what this crew...
I also want to take a look at Resistance real quick. Free ammunition, that's why it was free. Holy shit, that's awesome. That's broken. I like it, but that's broken. So it kind of rewards recklessness, in theory. Because it's just free ammunition. If you screw up and use a lot of resources, no biggie. You get them free. That's pretty funny.
Let out some sail! Fire! Tops, gallants, royal studs! Fire!
So I'm hoping that this is a location I can just take down really quick. Help us out another plantation. Because we're just about out of time. Got another fucking storm.
Fire! Cliff, dead ahead! Fire!
That was kind of my bad.
Batten yourselves! Fire! They hit us!
I didn't even see that out of there.
Fire! Fire! Working on it! Fire! Loaded! Look under the ship, Badewale! Fire! Fire!
We're gonna board this, we're gonna repair our ship. Then we'll investigate that island.
Douse all but lens!
I hope this island is another plantation. Why is this restricted?
Loose all!
Is it still restricted? Yeah, it is. Why? What's this island called? Cumberland Bay? I've been here before. Why is it restricted?
Fire!
Guess I'll find out.
All tops!
We're wanted. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully it's nothing we can't handle. Thing is, there's no viewpoint on this island, so I literally just had to look around and hope I find the 3 chests and the 1 secret. Looks like I found Blunderbuss.
¡Alto ahí! ¡No lo perdáis!
Chest. You have the 1 secret.
¡Quieto! ¡A por él! ¡No lo perdáis de vista!
You fuck. Wow. I was spamming. Why? You need to stop that shit. God. Did not need to use a smoke bomb on that guy, but was forced to. This is another location that was present in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I think it was also restricted area. So it's weird how it was restricted as far as I remember, because of the fact that there was a man war nearby. But as soon as I destroyed that man war, as soon as I captured that man war, I should say. I was essentially just kind of left alone. Like it was just no longer restricted. Yeah, so this is where it started. So it's gotta be somewhere inland. Oh, you know where it could be? There's a viewpoint on this island, wasn't there? I think it's up here. I have no idea where this is. I've been everywhere, so. Clearly just gonna look up a guy because I need to end the stream. Okay, got that one. So apparently it's behind some trees in this area where I set the marker. Sorry, I'm already like running a little bit late than I would like, so I just want to go ahead and end the stream. Also, I will not make the mistake I made last time where I completely forgot to do my outro. I see you. So, if you are remotely interested in what you see today, all the games I cover on my channel will be for 100% completion. I will be streaming Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry yet again next Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 Pacific Standard Time. Actually, as I say that, it's possible that I may need to change my stream schedule. It's possible I may not, because I may have a class on Friday. It's currently to be determined. And I've had this class before and I don't even have a class on Friday, but it's possible the schedule may change, but it's kind of like up in the air. If it does change, then I will need to like double up my streams on Saturday, but I am hoping that I may be able to be free. But as I was saying, I'll be streaming hopefully Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry on Fridays 1 p.m. to 4 Pacific Standard Time. I will be streaming Kingdom Hearts 1 for 100% completion on Saturdays 1 p.m. to 4 Pacific Standard Time. And I will be streaming Stardew Valley for 100% completion on Sundays 1 p.m. to 4 Pacific Standard Time. Something I want to point out is I stated the last week when I did the Kingdom Hearts 1 live stream, when I got to the point of no return, I did everything else. I said I wasn't going to stream until I was sure I would be able to make it to the, will be able to loop the hours from where it was at 56 hours to 00 for the achievement. But I'm currently at 94 hours of playtime. I only have 6 more hours to kill, so I should be able to stream Kingdom Hearts 1 tomorrow. And we should be able to beat Ansem, beat the game, and start our proud playthrough. In any case, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and since I started the stream on the stream deck, I can also end the stream by pressing this button. So have a nice day, everyone. Alright, hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to another post-stream session where I go over the new entries, or really the first post-stream session where I go over the new entries for the database. This is for the database of Freedom Cry, not Assassin's Creed 4, so technically the first one. So we have a lot to get through. So let's first start with locations. Montaigne Noirs. The Montaigne Noirs are the Black Mountains, located in the central part of western Hispaniola. Were often used by maroon warriors as a place of refuge. The treacherous landscape working to their advantage. Maroons escaped to the mountainous regions of the island to join previously established communities or start their own strongholds. There, fugitive slaves could freely raise crops and livestock hidden and sheltered by the mountain face. The ruins are able to survive by sending traders to nearby cities or by raiding plantations for cloth, weapons, and food. The mountain's rough exterior made it extremely difficult for any surprise attacks from oppressors, and the high altitude was ideal for maroon lookouts. Plantation mansions. Multi-story. That's seriously how you spell that? That's seriously how you spell that? I've been spelling it wrong my entire life. I thought it was S-T-O-R-Y, not E-Y. Okay, now I'm curious. I'm legitimately curious now. It's a story for singular. Story. Oh, apparently there's different spelling. So there's a story with a R-Y and a story with an R-E-Y. But it basically means a part of the building. Comprising all the rooms. Yeah. So there's two different spellings. I just never saw that one. Multi-story buildings with high ceilings, large windows, marble or wood flooring. With a second floor balcony for viewing one's vast property, plantation mansions were a symbol of the plantation's owner's wealth and success. The mansion was generally placed in the most central location of the plantation so that it would be visible and recognizable from a distance. It notes they were usually a combination of Greek, French Creole, and Caribbean architecture, DM. All built with enslaved labor as if to emphasize the inequality, JM. Port-au-Prince. Today, Port-au-Prince is known as the capital and largest city in Haiti, but it took a long time to get there, changing hands as interest shifted and power changed hands. I feel like you could have worded that a little bit differently so it's less redundant. Changing hands and changed hands. Bustling center of commerce in the 1730s, the current Port-au-Prince area was part of the grand scheme of Saint Dominique, which was then home to over 140 sugar plantations. The English did not trouble the area during this decade, and various nobles sought the land grants in Port-au-Prince from the French monarchy. African slaves outnumbered the rest of the population by a large margin. From a maroon perspective, Port-au-Prince was significant as a trading location and a major center for slave labor. It would also become a strategic target in the slave revolution that built and started and stopped throughout the 18th century, ultimately culminating in the founding of the Republic of Haiti. Saint Dominique, originally known as a hunting ground for the Taino and Carib peoples, the island of Hispaniola was first colonized by Christopher Columbus in 1492 in the name of Spain. Freaking dickhead. In 1501, the colony began importing African slaves. Wow. In the early 17th century, brought French pirates seeking to establish their own secret bases on the abandoned northern and western coasts of the island. In 1665, French colonization was officially recognized by King Louis XIV, renaming their colony Saint Dominique. Saint Domingue? I was misreading that. And in 1697, under the Treaty of Ryswick, Spain was forced to hand over their rights to the island to France. A slave-based society was constructed around the production of sugarcane to satisfy European demands for sugar. The island was nicknamed the Pearl of Antilles. Becoming the wealthiest colony in the West Indies, note, we could use the weather to manipulate the ambiance. Tropical storms, torrential rainfall, high winds, hurricanes, and large waves. Yes, but these people didn't already have enough problems. Let's throw weather at them too. RL. Realism. Slave barracks. Slave barracks were a common form of slave housing used in the 17th century. They were cheap and required little upkeep, which was ideal for plantation owners. Barracks were often constructed to look like wooden huts. Beds and furniture were not always allowed, forcing the slaves to make makeshift beds out of planks or sleep on the floor. Slaves often created their own extended families, as so many were crammed into tiny living spaces, which played a role in strengthening bonds. Slaves were sometimes allowed to plant and harvest their own small cash crops just outside the barracks. That's called crop sharing, I believe. As they were not often supplied enough food to survive, these gardens saved many slaves from starvation. Yeah, I believe that's called crop sharing, and crop sharing became a little bit more prevalent after slavery technically ended, when former plantation owners actually kind of gave their former slaves a part of their land to grow their own crops, and they're trying to make a living, but the plantation owners takes a large cut of what they grow. I believe that's called crop sharing. It's actually it's kind of their way of kind of maintaining slaves, but while not actually technically enslaving them, because they technically have their own land, but their profits are weighed heavily in the favor of the landowner. Historical events. Plantation life. Life on the San Domingue plantations was harsh. Slaves were tortured, violated, starved, made to live in shacks, and exhausted of all their energy. Everywhere on all plantations, domestic slaves catered to every need of their masters and overseers, and worked when they were told despite what the Code Noir dictated. The lash, both its image and sound, was perhaps the most common memory of plantation life. Lashing was a very common form of punishment used to force and threaten slaves into doing work. They were also cajoled with food, clothing, and rest as incentives, and were sometimes given the freedom to raise their own livestock and crops. That being said, the conditions on the sugar plantations were brutal. During the 8-month sugar harvest, slaves were expected to work long hours until all the work was done, including on Sundays, which the Code Noir specifically set aside as a day of rest. Slaves collapsed from exhaustion regularly and sometimes got into horrible accidents with the primitive machinery used on the plantations. Slaves were considered to be pieces of property and were generally labeled as unskilled, though many slaves were skilled masons, metal workers, coopers, cooks, seamstresses, and nurses. Personal violations were also used as a method of control. Slaves were often relocated to other plantations without warning and were separated from friends, family members, and children. Many slaves were also raped. Lovely. None of this stopped the enslaved people from starting families and having social lives on the plantations. Friends and family units were created in the barracks, and children were reared and taught the dangers and risks of the harsh life they were brought into. These barracks were the focal point for developing slave communities. Religion also played a major part. Faith offered the slaves a form of escapism from their harsh lives and masters. Sometimes religious scriptures was used as code among his followers, sparking more hope and sometimes rebellion. As dark as these times were, there was still a spark of hope among the people. Slavery in San Domingue. Hispaniola was first home to the Taino tribes who suffered abuse, disease, and slavery after first contact with the Spanish, ultimately reducing their population to an estimated 500 people by 1548. With the native populations waning, colonies looked for other sources of manual labor to help supply Europe's growing demands for goods. They turned to Africa. In French control of San Domingue, conditions were punishing, and birth rates for slaves were lower than death rates. Rather than improve conditions, the colony simply increased the rate at which it imported slaves. It's so fucked. So, things were bad where they lived, but instead of trying to fix the problems, they just bring more people and just have them try and fix it. It's a backwards thinking. You think that more people to feed and care for and provide would be more trouble than just improving the conditions for the slaves, which would presumably have them live longer. You know. By the 18th century, San Domingue had become home to the largest slave society with the most brutal conditions in the world. The Code Noir was originally established in May 1685 by King Louis XIV of France and enacted in March 1687. It was a set of rules governing the rights and policy of slaves. and remained in effect until 1789. That's actually pretty late. Almost like 100 years, actually over 100 years. Articles of the Code Noir made Catholicism mandatory in French colonies. Wow. Provided guidelines for slave punishments and also included a number of articles designed to limit the mistreatment of slaves. Somehow I feel like that those articles to limit the mistreatment of slaves wasn't really followed. Masters were obligated to provide shelter, food, and clothing for their slaves and were not allowed to torture or manipulate their workers, only beat them. Oh yeah, because beating is just so much better. Slave families were not to be sold separately. Care was to be given to the sick and dying, and it was also stated that masters should only punish repeat offenders. Yeah, something tells me these assholes never really followed this Code Noir. And in fact, the Code Noir was never fully enforced, making way for all sorts of abuse. Most slave owners only adhered to the articles that benefited them. Some masters even became known for their cruelty and inventive methods of torture, and many violations were waived and overlooked. This was especially the case in San Domingo, where the pressures to remain the world leader in sugar and coffee production was felt most strongly by the slaves who provided all the necessary labor. That's actually something kind of interesting. If the Code Noir actually existed, in theory, it would have been designed to try and like limit the suffering of the slaves, but it was either not enforced or people just generally didn't really feel the need to follow these guidelines, so slaves end up suffering more than they could have. If it was just the beatings, that'd be bad enough, but because I think that the only thing that was allowed in the Code Noir was beating the slaves and things. But they kind of made it worse by just not enforcing the thing. Because slaves were just raped, they were tortured, they were whipped. They were just constantly just... It was just such a bullshit time of what black people went through at that time. It just pissed me off. I watched the movie Roots as in high school, with kind of like details like what happened during slavery. I was so pissed off when I was watching that, and I never wanted to like kill like anyone more than those white people that were just completely like enslaving all those Africans, and it just really pissed me off. I was just so mad when I saw that movie. I just never really paid much attention to that type of thing. I never really realized that everything was just that bad until I watched that movie in high school. I knew about slavery, but I didn't know like how bad everything was. Adwale, born in 1692, Trinidad, died unknown. Born to enslave Ogoni parents in Yoruba, Adwale was sold to the owner of a prosperous plantation before his teens. He remained on this plantation, working the fields until his mid-teens, always scheming of ways to escape his predicaments, but uneasy with the prospect of living life as a fugitive. Then fortune struck, giving Adwale the sign he needed. At some point near his 16th birthday, a group of buccaneers raided the plantation, robbing it of raw cane, refined sugar, and as many reals as they could find. Seeing this as an opportunity, Ade grabbed a crate of sugar and hauled it on aboard one of the longboats the buccaneers had rowed ashore, but not before killing his master. Surprised to see a slave among them, the buccaneers were nevertheless thankful for the aid and welcomed Ade among them. Ade sailed with his first group of men for many years, quickly learning the ways of a seaman, grateful for the chance to develop his own skills and chase his own passions. And through his life among buccaneers was not free of the usual bigotry of the era. Ade found the prejudice to be more confrontational than restrictive. In 1715, misfortune struck a cruel blow when the ship Ade was aboard struck a shallow sandbar near the port of Havana. The buccaneers, mostly British at the time, tried desperately to free the trapped vessel, but after catching sight of an approaching Spanish galleon, abandoned the ship only to be torn apart by schools of circling bull sharks. Ade made peace with his fate and stood his ground. Taken to Havana for questioning and inspection, Spanish authorities eventually decided to send Ade Adwale back to Spain. Adwale to Spain, where they felt he would make an excellent interpreter, owing to his fluent command of Spanish, English, and French. Some weeks later, they loaded him into one of the galleons that made up their perennial treasure convoy en route to Seville. Thanks in large part to a hurricane, however, that trip never took place. With the aid of a young Welsh pirate named Edward Kenway, Ada escaped the Bilbos that bound him. I don't know what Bilbos is. Freeing more prisoners as they went, Ada and Edward commanded a brigantine and set sail just in time to beat the worst of the storm. When the hurricane passed, Ada was free once more. From that point forward, Ada sailed as a quartermaster aboard Captain Edward's ship, the Jackdaw. Operating out of Nassau for a time, they grew wealthy off their spoils and lived the lives they had always dreamed. But Ada was a man who valued the democratic ideals of this pirate community far above the spoils they acquired while living it. And as he saw, Edward Kenway fell deeper and deeper into a spiral of selfish greed and pointless glory. He wondered if there wasn't a better alternative, a more noble cause he might adopt to suit his ideals. In 1720, these very ideals were put to the test when Captain Kenway sailed to a meeting with the notorious Bartholomew Roberts. Adwale had never trusted Roberts and had hoped Edward might come to the same conclusion before it was too late. Unfortunately, Ada's instincts were correct. In Edward's absence, Roberts' enormous crew attacked the Jackdaw, hoping to subdue her. Ada took command of the brig and sailed her and her crew to safety, regretting the loss of his captain but confident he had made the right decision. Some months later, Ada resolved to meet with Atabai at the assassin village in Tulum. There he spoke at length with the old mentor and asked him many questions about their order. After hearing answers that pleased him greatly, Ada joined the order and then set about devising a scheme to locate his old captain. Months later, Adwale and the assassins got word that Edward Kenway had been languishing for many months in the prison in Port Royal. They learned too that Mary Reed and Anne Bonny had also been taken there. Ada and Atabai put a plan in motion to rescue them. After the escape a tragic success, Ada returned the Jackdaw intact to Captain Kenway and bade him visit the assassins as soon as he was able. For over 15 years, Adwale faithfully served the assassins, but in time he became increasingly troubled by memories of his past. In 1735, while performing a routine takedown of a Templar admiral at the coast of San Domingue, he was thrown overboard and washed ashore near Port-au-Prince. Augustine de Fort, born in 1701, died unknown. Augustine de Fort was born into slavery in 1701, sold away from his mother. Oh, this is not Bastion. And passed from plantation to plantation as owners leapt at the chance to buy him cheaply, only to find him too thin and frail to be of much use. Changing hands so often gave de Fort an advantage. He learned the layouts, routines, and habits of plantations and their overseers across San Domingue. He used his knowledge to plan a careful escape, and thus became one of the few child slaves to survive in adulthood. A deeply faithful man, de Fort was baptized Catholic in accordance with the rules of the Code Noir, but drew his spirituality from voodoo and his strength from his unwavering drive for African independence in San Domingue. In 1735, he was introduced to Adwale following a raid on his headquarters, and the two formed a loose partnership, exchanging strengths and ideas over the years that followed. Bastien Joseph, born 16... Well, that's weird. 16-9 question mark? I've never seen that before. Near Port-au-Prince, died unknown. An intelligent, outwardly outgoing woman, Bastien Joseph had many acquaintances and a few friends. Born free and raised by her mother, a prostitute at La Dame and Rose, Bastien Joseph made her first friends by selling glimpses of illicit acts to local children, but was shunned and labeled as morally corrupt as a young teenager. Oh, God, that's funny. I shouldn't laugh. I feel like it's kind of a bad thing to laugh at, but when I said acts, just kind of... Oh, God. I'm actually kind of curious what she did. Choosing to avoid prostitution or sell, Bastien learned to read, write, and manage financial affairs. In time, she became the brothel madam's indispensable right-hand woman. In this capacity, she bore witness to all the secret deal-making, political manipulation, and scandal among the brothel's patrons and learn the true power of the Madame of La Dame and Rosa. Engaged once, she ultimately avoided the altar, realizing it would deprive her of the freedom she had carefully cultivated for herself. She instead inherited the brothel following her mentor's death and took private pleasure in seeing the bullies and hypocrites of her childhood become her paying patrons once more. In the successful business the previous madam had built, Joseph saw potential for something more. Doubling her business, she then used the brothel to undertake two types of action on behalf of Maroons and enslaved Africans and Port-au-Prince. She used her proceeds to buy the freedom of slaves and used the confidential veil of the brothel itself in tandem with her control over the women who worked there to solicit political favors from powerful clients, including Governor Defiant and the scientist Louis Golden. In 1735, she met Adwale for the first time, and the two became uneasy partners in helping Augustine de Fort and the Maroon cause. It does seem that a friendship developed between them, but it is unclear to what extent. I still am unsure about what to think about Bastian. I don't know if she's like a bad guy or a good person, or if she's just like kind of playing both sides. I don't know what to think. Maroons are people from the West Indies, Central America, South America, and North America that escaped slavery and formed, and settled communities away from their oppressors. Although the African slaves were not the first to be treated so badly, the Taino tribes that first inhabited the Saint Domingue were abused and bullied into submission by the Spanish, refusing to work for them. The Taino people were the first to settle in the mountains and later made room for the fugitive slaves. Most of the slaves of Saint Domingue fled to the mountains to hide from their oppressors and start new lives, often based on subsistence agriculture. I can't say that word for some reason. Subsistence agriculture and survival hunting. Some became warriors and fought for independence and the freedom of other slaves. Maroons were known to raise crops, attempt to scare off plantation owners. Overseers loot and conduct violent raids on nearby sugar and coffee plantations. But although these bonds of Maroon warriors grew in size, they more often than not lacked the leadership to carry through a large-scale operation. Not surprisingly, the Code Noir still sided with the masters. They were given a great deal of liberty in their retaliation methods. Plantation slaves were killed in an attempt to keep the Maroons at bay. Many of the attackers were slaughtered, and the death penalty was given out as a common form of punishment. Lovely. Maroons in Saint Domingue were ultimately responsible for one of the few successful slave uprisings in history, and the only one to result in the founding of the Free State, Republic of Haiti, after a century of effort and more than one attempt. Note, Maroons are not to be confused with other black populations in Saint Domingue at the time. Freedmen, slaves who were freed legally through emancipation and I do not know that word, manumission, and gens de couleur, people of color, who were born free or freed at birth. I actually can look up that word, never heard of that. Manumission definition. Release from slavery. That's a weird word to say, release from slavery. Overseers. Plantation owners in the colonies were generally wealthy white Europeans, ruling in absentia. Most of the time, they delegated their authority to overseers to control the day-to-day production of the plantation. The overseers were the people in charge of running the plantation's day-to-day activities, administering discipline, and often acting in place of the true owners. General. And weapons, we have blunderbuss. A blunderbuss is a short firearm with a large caliber barrel. It's flared at the muzzle and is only effective at short range. The word blunderbuss comes from the Dutch word dunderbuss, translated to thunderpipe. As to serve a similar role, some consider this weapon to be an early form of what we now know as a shotgun. Firecrackers. Firecrackers are small explosive devices used mainly for the sound they produce. They are generally cylindrical in shape and are filled with an explosive powder. Fuses are usually added, allowing the firecracker to be lit and thrown away from the user before it explodes. Machete. The machete, a large knife, can be used either as a tool or weapon, and the blade can vary in length. Machetes were frequently used to cut through undergrowth, trim vegetation, harvest sugarcane, and cut fruit open. They were convenient as a weapon because they were used so frequently, making them easily attainable on plantations. Yep. The Experto Creed. The double-masted, agile ship, the Experto Creed, was originally owned by French merchants. It was stolen by Adwale in San Domingo during the early 18th century and used to aid the Maroon Warriors. So that does it for all the new entries for the database. What is this? Oh, that must be from yeah, that must be from Sasuke 4 Black Flag. That's interesting all loops. But that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And for those of you that are curious, we are currently in 1 second. 44% complete. So we almost got to 50% mark. I imagine we will be we may finish the game next week, but we'll see. We definitely got to the 50% mark. We could have done more missions, but that's not my style. I like to do exploration first. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the... Ah, shit, dropped my mouse. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. As soon as I can find my mouse.